Okay, so now for the part that you might have been asking about the meltdown part about it. So say the child is coming over and like they take the blocks and they're just like, no, I don't want to do blocks today. And they start throwing them. They're like, oh my God, no, I'm not doing blocks today. I mean, like obviously I'm not saying that, but they just start like throwing everything. So typically what I would do is say, you really don't like those blocks. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's put the blocks away. And if they're just like, no, I'm not going to put the blocks away, then we would use hand over hand. So like that looks like this, like putting their hand, taking the block, take hand, put in their block. If they really don't like that, then I'll typically take them at the elbow and put the block in. So getting them to put those blocks away, say, okay, all the blocks are all done. We're going to put all those blocks away. Those blocks are going away. We're not going to do blocks right now because like it's more important to get them to like work on something in another way than it is for me to say like, you're doing blocks today. You're going to do these blocks today. And if they're like really in that kind of mood where there's like, I have to like destroy something, I have to do something, then typically I'll ask the parents if they have a piece of paper, a tissue napkin, something like that, and we'll work on just like ripping it. I'm just gonna rip the paper. We're gonna rip all this paper. Can you help me rip all this paper? And sometimes I'll have to like make little cuts right here and like let them rip it. And then a lot of times once we rip it and rip all the paper, and we throw it in the air, and it does make a mess. Yes, I know that. That'll get them redirected. That sometimes will help get them out of that like tantrum. Kids with meltdowns, it doesn't always work until they are out of the meltdown phase. Like they have to be regulated again to be able to listen enough to go, oh, you want to rip some paper? Let's rip the paper. Like sometimes if a kid is actually having a sensory meltdown, you can bring paper over to them and quietly say, do you want to rip some paper with me? And that might help them. That might redirect them. Especially if you give them some like sensory input first, if they're okay with that, if they're not a kid that doesn't not like touch. Sometimes that will redirect them out of that sensory meltdown as well. With kids with tantrums, you can kind of redirect them with things like this, like the destructiveness in a way that you are okay with. So that's what I'm kind of talking about with the natural consequences. Like we're going to put those toys away, but we can do this. We can rip these papers instead of destroying those items.